Hi friends, it's Mrs. Curry. I'm on my front porch today because this is about the only place that I could find that was a quiet place today. But it's a little windy, so if you hear the wind, I do apologize. You might have noticed I got some new glasses. So here are my new glasses, and you might see them in the next few videos. I really hope you had a great spring break. My family had a good spring break. We really just were at our house, which was probably what you did most of the time. But we did an egg hunt for Easter, and we did a lot of walks around our neighborhood. And so we just had a really good time together, and I really hope that you and your family also had a good time together, and that you were able to do some fun things and just relax. So we're back to school, and we're back to our distance learning, and so I'm going to start reading to you again each day. So today I've got a book. This week you're going to be learning about fairy tales, and so hopefully on the first day of fairy tales you will check out the video, what is a fairy tale? And you will learn what makes a fairy tale a fairy tale. And then you can pick the read aloud on there if you want, or you can choose my read alouds. And so I'm going to be doing the different variations of the Three Little Pigs. So you might have heard the story, The Three Little Pigs, and I will put a link to it in our class dojo so that you can look at that first. But the original Three Little Pigs, the characters were three pigs and the big bad wolf. You might have heard the story. The wolf comes to each house and he says that he's going to blow the house down, and he blows with all his might and he blows it down. So that's the original fairy tale. I have 4 variations of that fairy tale that I'm going to read you this week, and I think you're going to really like the variations. So the first one that I'm going to read today is, and you listen, and when you hear the story, you listen for the differences. So the differences between the first story and the story that I'm going to read today. So today's story is The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. And so that's today's story. And you can probably already notice from the cover and from the title that this story is going to have 3 little wolves and a big bad pig. So let's find out what happens to the wolves. This story is written by Eugene Trivius and Helen Oxenberry. Let me move this a little bit so you can see the book. Once upon a time, there were 3 cuddly little wolves with soft fur and fluffy tails who lived with their mother. The first was black, the second was gray, and the third was white. One day the mother called to the 3 little wolves around her and said, "My children, it is time for you to go out into the world. Go and build a house for yourselves, but beware of the big bad pig." "Don't worry, Mother, we will watch out for him," said the 3 little wolves, and they set off. Soon they met a kangaroo who was pushing a wheelbarrow full of red and yellow bricks. "Please, will you give us some of your bricks?" asked the 3 little wolves. "Certainly," said the kangaroo, and she gave them lots of red and yellow bricks. So the 3 little wolves built themselves a house of bricks. There they are, building their house of bricks. The very next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of bricks that the little wolves had built. The 3 little wolves were playing croquet in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside the house and locked the door. And you can see, here he is, sneaking up on them while they're playing croquet. The pig knocked on the door and grunted, little wolves, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his sledgehammer, and he knocked the house down. Only the three little wolves only just managed to escape before the bricks crumbled, and they were very frightened indeed. So the wolves still got away, even though the pig got his sledgehammer and knocked the house down. Phew, that was close. "We shall have to build a stronger house," they said. Just then they saw a beaver who was mixing concrete in a concrete mixer. "Please, will you give us some of your concrete?" asked the little wolves. "Certainly," said the beaver, and he gave them buckets and buckets full of messy, slurry concrete. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of concrete. Concrete is kind of like what your sidewalks are made out of, or your driveway, usually. No sooner had they finished that the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of concrete that the little wolves had built. They were playing battledore and shuttlecock in the garden, and when they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house and shut the door. The pig rang the bell and said, "Little frightened wolves, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his pneumatic drill and smashed the house down. The three little wolves managed to escape, but their chinny chin chins were trembling and trembling and trembling. That was an even closer one. "We shall build an even stronger house," they said, because they were very determined. Just then they saw a truck coming along the road carrying barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. "Please, will you give us some of your barbed wire, a few iron bars, and armor plates, and some heavy metal padlocks?" they said to the rhinoceros who was driving the truck. "Sure," said the rhinoceros, and he gave them plenty of barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. He also gave them some plexiglass and some reinforced steel chains, because he was a generous and kind-hearted rhinoceros. So the three little wolves built themselves an extremely strong house. It was the strongest, securest house one could possibly imagine. They felt absolutely safe. Wow. The next day, the big bad pig came prowling along the road as usual. The three little wolves were playing hopscotch in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house, bolted the door, and locked all the 37 padlocks. The pig dialed the video entrance phone and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He brought some dynamite, laid it against the house, lit the fuse, and the house blew up. The three little wolves just managed to escape with their fluffy tails scorched. And scorched kind of means like burnt. So their little tails got scorched. "Something must be wrong with our building materials," they said. "We have to try something different." But what? At the moment, they saw a flamingo coming along pushing a wheelbarrow full of flowers. "Please, will you give us some flowers?" asked the little wolves. "With pleasure," said the flamingo, and he gave them lots of flowers. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of flowers. That doesn't seem like it's going to be very strong. One wall was marigolds, one was daffodils, one was pink roses, and one was cherry blossoms. The ceiling was made of sunflowers, and the floor was a carpet of daisies. They had water lilies in their bathtub and buttercups in their refrigerator. It was a rather fragile house. That means that it was not very strong. And it swayed in the wind, but it was very beautiful. Next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of flowers that the three little wolves had built. He rang the bluebell at the door and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins and the scorched tails, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to be able to blow the house down? Let's find out. But as he took a deep breath, ready to huff and puff, he smelled the soft scent of the flowers. It was fantastic. And because the scent was so lovely, the pig took another breath, and then another, and instead of huffing and puffing, he began to sniff. He sniffed deeper and deeper until he was quite filled with the fragrant scent. His heart grew tender, and he realized how horrible he had been. Right then, he decided to become a big, good pig. He just started to dance and sing the tarantella. There he is. Oh my. He turned into a good pig. At first, the three little wolves were a bit worried. It might be a trick. But soon they realized that the pig had truly changed, so they came running out of the house. They started playing games with him. First they played pig pog, and then piggy in the middle, and when they were all tired, they invited him into their house. They offered him tea and strawberries and wolfberries and asked him to stay with them as long as he wanted. The pig accepted, and they all lived happily together ever after. Is that how you thought the story would end? I don't think so. I thought that the big bad pig would blow down their house of flowers. But friends, that was a brilliant idea because the pig decided that he wanted to turn good. So that's what some of the ways that this story is different from the other story. What I'd like you to do is turn to your brother, sister, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever's there watching you today and taking care of you, and talk to them about the difference between the first Three Little Pigs and this story, the Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. I hope you enjoyed our story. I'll see you soon, friends. Bye!